Thank you for the panel. I think we all needed to hear a lot of that, and it's just thank you all for being here and sharing your experiences. My name is Ben. I'm a sophomore here at Catholic U studying theology. You all talked a lot about priestly fraternity, more so specifically like fraternal correction. Since you all are diocesan priests, there's not that, commonness of like brotherhood, and it's more of like a priest to bishop kind of checks and balances. So I would just ask you, or one of you, or however many, just speaking about the role of that fraternal correction in parishes that don't have a community. You also spoke about how there's been an obvious decline in vocations to the priesthood and religious life. And I've known a lot of people that say, my pastor is the only pastor that lives in his rectory, and he also is in charge of like 2 or sometimes even 3 other parishes because of the low number. So just that role of fraternal correction and brotherhood in the midst of all of the isolation and growing isolation.
Actually, I think this speaks to the blockbuster principle, okay? Because the model of the priest alone in the parish and sort of isolated. There are a lot of places now where priests are they're living together. They're making a decision to live together and then go out to the parishes. In different places in the U.S., there are initiatives, whether it's an oratory or something like that. But more and more priests seeing the need for a common life, not religious life, still remaining diocesan or secular priests, but establishing a common life together and sort of breaking away from what, we've always done it this way, right? And finding a new way to do that, which will build up the fraternity of the priests and therefore help them to better serve those parishes.
So every month, Father Boxey and I and 3 other priests, we meet for a whole day, and we start the day off with a holy hour for the Blessed Sacrament, praying, and then we get lunch together, catch up on just what's going on in the world and just kind of fun stuff we talk about, and then we spend 2-3 hours sharing intimately what's going on in our lives. Following up on what happened from the last month, challenges, struggles, calling each other on, asking each other, are you praying? How's that thing that you talked about last time? And it happens every month. And we try to once a year take a longer period of time together away, like an overnight. We went up to a farmhouse up in Western Maryland last year. And most guys now that I know, certainly encourage you, and all the priests I know, they're part of these fraternity groups. You can't always control your assignment or what's going on there. I live by myself in my rectory, so I have to go out and make this fraternity as I can. Father Boxey's, I don't know, it was like 25 minutes up the road, but we take time to get together, stop by. If we're driving by each other's parish, just for a couple minutes to talk on the phone. It's what you do when you're friends, but you also recognize too that there's this obligation of brotherhood, and that I think a lot of us would like to go more in the direction Father Scalia is talking about, but at the same time, you can't just give up parishes, and sometimes you have to remain at that parish in the rectory locally because of the responsibilities there. So you do what you can to make fraternity happen, and it's a commitment because if you can always find excuses about, I've got this thing and I can't make it. And then before you know it, you haven't seen your brother priest in weeks. So you have to say, I've got to talk to these guys. I've got to see them every week. I've got to make time for fraternity, like the group I was talking about, where we can correct each other and be accountable. If you make it a priority and a commitment, it happens. And I think Father Griffin can talk about this. I was told this every year as a seminarian that this is an absolute priority.
Yeah, just we as human beings, we've been made for community. We've been made for relationship, and I think it's extremely incumbent upon all priests. And I think this has been emphasized a lot in seminary, at least recently in seminary formation. That find a priest group. You have to have people that hold you accountable. We can't necessarily police ourselves. We need others to help us to live out our vocation, healthfully, healthily, faithfully, and fruitfully. And that's just in each human person, this need, this desire for relationship, this desire to be in community, and it doesn't stop with just because we become a priest. And to a certain extent, it's even more so because we don't necessarily just simply have, family, a natural family to go to. So it really does have to become a priority for all of us. And even those guys who may not think it's a priority, still trying to reach out, still trying to be intentional about, looking out after a brother priest, because we are really our brother's keeper. We do have to look out for one another and for our well-being.